The ancestral arched posture you're about to learn dissolves fascial knots and releases trapped energy within minutes. Your thoracic fascia holds memories of every time you tightened your chest in the face of threats, creating a shield that silently drains your creative power. There is a memory tissue between your sternum and solar plexus that determines how much energy you have available to create, decide, and express yourself. This matters because fascial rigidity keeps your nervous system in a constant state of alert, limits your breathing, and fragments your presence. Take a moment now to observe how your chest moves as you breathe. Notice whether the air easily reaches the back of your ribs or if it gets stuck near the surface. This simple observation already prepares your body to receive the ritual that transforms chronic tension into usable strength. The secret lies in the sacred geometry of the arch, a physical configuration that activates hermetic principles of transmutation, where the shape teaches the substance, and your body becomes an active temple of transformation. Dhanurasana transmutes fascial tension into creative power through a direct dialogue between conscious intention and the intelligence of the connective tissue. By the end of this practice, you will have dissolved adhesions that were keeping your vital energy trapped, and you will feel the return of full respiratory expansion, with air naturally reaching the deep layers of your chest. The creative power that was being drained by chronic tensions will begin to circulate freely again, allowing decisions to arise with clarity and your presence to radiate magnetic stability. Initiatic schools understood that certain body shapes work as master keys capable of unlocking specific internal states, where the posture does not only express awareness but actively shapes it. This configuration organizes your axis in a geometry of tensegrity, creating vectors of force that invite the hardened fascia to regain its original plasticity through gentle and distributed traction. Today, you will master this ancestral code of somatic transmutation, learning to recognize the clear signs that confirm fascial release, the local heat that arises, the involuntary sighs that emerge, and the micro-expansions that restore the connection between breath and presence. In the temples of ancient Egypt, priests understood that the human body functions as an instrument of transformation, where each specific posture triggers precise changes in the internal energetic field. The fundamental hermetic principle revealed that dense matter can be refined through the conscious application of shape and breath, converting tension into usable substance. These masters observed that the arched configuration activates subtle channels that run through the torso, releasing blockages that prevent the circulation of vital force between energy centers. Contemporary neuroscience is now uncovering the exact mechanisms behind this ancient wisdom through the polyvagal theory, which shows how the vagus nerve interprets signals of safety or threat based on the quality of your breath and posture. When the thoracic fascia stays contracted, specialized proprioceptors send constant danger signals to the nervous system, keeping the organism in a state of alert that consumes core energy. Recent research on connective tissue has revealed that fascia has independent contractile properties and responds directly to neurological commands, functioning as a communication network that records and stores emotional patterns. This living body archive stores every memory of defensive contraction, but it also preserves the innate ability to return to its original state of expansion when it receives the right stimulus through precise postural geometry. Begin by lying face down on a firm surface, with your forehead resting on a low pillow or a folded towel to keep your breathing free. Let your legs extend naturally and allow your arms to rest loosely alongside your body. The first phase of the ritual involves preparing the nervous system through directed breathing that activates specific mechanoreceptors in the thoracic fascia, creating the ideal neurological environment for the release that is about to happen. Inhale slowly, consciously guiding the air toward the back of your ribs, allowing the expansion to occur at the rear of the chest rather than the front, while mentally counting to 4. Maintain this dorsal expansion for 2 full seconds, noticing how your back widens and creates gentle pressure against the floor. During this full pause, proprioceptors in the fascial tissue register the new range and send signals of safety to the vagus nerve, beginning the relaxation cascade that allows the fascia to release without resistance. Exhale in a controlled way, keeping your chest open and avoiding the automatic collapse that usually happens, and count 6 beats during this release phase. In the empty pause that follows, for 2 seconds, observe the different quality of internal silence and the feeling of space that forms behind your sternum. Repeat this 4-count cycle exactly 4 times, directing your attention toward your solar plexus and asking yourself one essential internal question: where exactly can the air not reach? This is not a mental inquiry, but a proprioceptive one. You are mapping zones of fascial rigidity through the quality of your breath. Some areas will respond immediately with expansion and warmth, while others will remain dense and resistant. Accept both responses without forcing anything, as fascia only yields when it feels safe to release defensive patterns it considers necessary for your protection. After completing the 4 breathing cycles, remain still for 30 seconds, observing the sensations that spontaneously emerge: tingling, waves of warmth, micropulsations, or the feeling that something is reorganizing itself internally. These are objective indicators that the connective tissue is responding to conscious command and preparing for the geometric transformation that comes next. Now, slowly and deliberately, your hands reach for your ankles, establishing firm but gentle contact with your fingers wrapping around the front of the ankles. The next movement comes from the intention to lift both your chest and knees off the ground at the same time, but without rushing or using excessive force. You are inviting the fascia to reorganize itself, not forcing the posture. Your hips remain as a stable anchor against the floor, creating the essential point of support that evenly distributes the forces along the spine. Your sternum gently projects forward and upward, not through intense muscular contraction, but as a natural consequence of the traction generated by your hands holding your ankles. The first stopping point comes when you feel the air entering your chest more easily, an objective sign that the fascia has started to yield and create real internal space. In that moment, pay close attention to the signs of fascial release that arise spontaneously. A localized warmth between the shoulder blades or behind the sternum, involuntary sighs that come without your control, or micro-vibrations moving through the torso like subtle waves. These are not side effects, but confirmations that the connective tissue is responding to your conscious command and releasing long-held patterns of tension. Stay in this first range for 15 to 30 seconds, breathing naturally and allowing the shape to work on the fascia. Subtle adjustments determine whether the practice will release or compress, and the most crucial one is to keep the pubic bone just a few millimeters off the ground, just enough to create gentle traction along the front fascial line without placing strain on the lower back. Let your neck lengthen without collapsing, as if an invisible string were lifting the top of your head upward, while your shoulder blades slide down and away from the ears, creating the feeling of curtains opening inside your chest. If your lower back protests with sharp discomfort, immediately reduce the range and bring the arch back into your chest, where true release takes place. The goal is never maximum range, but precision in the distribution of force that allows the thoracic fascia to regain its original mobility. Right now, you are applying the fundamental hermetic principle of solve et coagula directly into the fascial tissue, dissolving rigid patterns to solidify a new, energetic organization within your body. The solve phase takes place by maintaining the arched shape for 2 to 3 full minutes, allowing the gentle and consistent traction to invite deep layers of fascia to release adhesions formed over years of defensive contraction. During this time, breathe naturally without controlling the rhythm, observing how spontaneous sighs emerge and waves of warmth move through the torso, signs that the rigidity is dissolving and the trapped energy is returning to circulation. This is not a conceptual dissolution, but a real structural shift that you can feel happening moment by moment. The coagular phase begins when you gently release your ankles and lower your body back to the ground with slow, conscious movements, allowing the new energetic organization to settle into usable patterns. Lie in a modified child's pose or remain face down for 45 to 60 seconds, observing 3 objective criteria that confirm a successful transmutation. First, the quality of your breathing has changed. The air flows in more easily and spontaneously reaches areas that were previously blocked without effort on your part. Second, your shoulders respond differently to the inhale. Instead of lifting automatically, they remain steady while the ribs expand, indicating that the thoracic fascia has regained mobility. Third, there is a tangible sense of tonic silence behind the sternum, as if a background noise you didn't even know was there has finally stopped. This silence is not the absence of sensation, but the presence of a new kind of inner stability that will begin to manifest in the coming hours as decisions arising with clarity, tasks beginning without resistance, and a magnetic quality in your presence that others instinctively feel. The energy that was being wasted to maintain unnecessary defensive patterns is now available for creation, expression, and initiative. The true mark of alchemical transmutation, where limitation is converted into usable power through the precise application of form and conscious intention. Beatrice had been working for 15 years as a creative director at an advertising agency, but she felt as if her voice had been gradually suffocated by invisible layers of tension building up between her chest and throat. At 50 years old, she began to notice that her boldest ideas would get stuck somewhere between thought and expression, as if a dense membrane were preventing her genuine creativity from reaching her words. Meetings that once flowed naturally turned into internal battlegrounds, where she struggled against a tightness in her chest that seemed to drain all her vital energy before she could even speak. Her colleagues began to notice something different about her presence, less magnetic, more withdrawn, as if she were communicating through a heavy veil. When Beatrice discovered the practice of Dhanurasana as a method of fascial transmutation, something fundamental began to reorganize within her connective tissue during the first few weeks of daily ritual. The release happened in layers. First came the return of spontaneous sighs that hadn't happened in years, followed by the sensation of fresh air finally reaching forgotten areas of her chest. In the meetings that followed, her ideas emerged with a clarity and strength that even surprised her, as if her creative voice had been unearthed from a fascial burial that had lasted more than a decade. Her colleagues remarked on a tangible shift in her energy. Decisions came without hesitation. Projects began with organic flow, and there was an almost magnetic quality in the way she occupied space. 3 months later, Beatrice launched the most innovative campaign of her career, a series that gained international recognition not for its technique, but for the visceral authenticity that radiated from each creative piece. It was the direct result of creative energy finally flowing freely through a body. that had learned to transmute tension into usable power. The transformation that Beatrice experienced now needs to be sealed into your body through physical markers that you can track and recreate whenever needed. The first sign of real integration is the quality of your breath. The air naturally reaches your solar plexus without conscious effort, creating a sense of internal fullness that didn't exist before. The second marker is temperature, a subtle, steady warmth behind the sternum, as if an inner fireplace had been lit and continued to radiate hours after the practice. The third indicator is the jaw, which softens spontaneously and does not return automatically to tension when you close your eyes or focus on something. To anchor this new state, establish a simple gesture, signal. Place the palm of your right hand over your sternum and apply gentle pressure for 3 full breaths, recreating the fascial memory of opening. Repeat this anytime you feel the rigidity trying to return. The touch communicates directly with the connective tissue, reactivating the somatic memory of expansion. Your point of return is a phrase combined with posture. My chest breathes space while subtly widening your collarbones and allowing your shoulder blades to slide downward, re-establishing the vector of openness in just 15 seconds. This sealing process prevents old defensive patterns from reinstalling automatically, creating a new default setting in your nervous system where expansion becomes the natural state, not contraction. The fascia you once carried as an archive of limitations has now become a library of power through the sacred geometry of Dona-Rasama, revealing a fundamental truth. Your body was never a problem to be fixed, but a temple to be activated. Every fiber of connective tissue that once restricted your vital energy now functions as a channel of transmutation, converting chronic tension into magnetic presence that you can access in daily life. The deepened breath, the stabilized shoulders, and the tonic silence behind the sternum are tangible signs of an inner alchemy that takes place when conscious form meets directed intention. You have discovered that you no longer need to carry the weight of defensive patterns that were once necessary but now only drain your creative capacity. The philosopher Gaston Bachelard once observed that the body is our first home, and we must learn its secret passages before inhabiting any other space. The ritual you've learned here opens those passages between the sternum and the sacrum, allowing trapped energy to return to circulation and creative power to flow again without fascial obstacles. Each time you take the shape of the arch with directed breath, you are not just moving muscles, you are reprogramming the somatic intelligence that determines how much vital force is available to you for decisions, relationships, and authentic expression. Real transmutation happens when you realize that what you once called tension was actually frozen creative power, waiting for the right command to resume its movement. Your body has held this wisdom for millennia. You've simply remembered how to activate it through ancestral geometry that turns limitation into freedom, restricted breathing into full presence, and wasted energy into creative power now pulsing freely through every fiber of your being. If this content resonated with you, leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications to keep receiving insights that transmute limitation into creative power. Your expanded energy helps this field of wisdom reach more people who need to rediscover the alchemical power held within their own bodies. I want to know how you feel your fascia responding to the arch of sacred geometry. Write in the comments, "The ancestral posture of the arch transmutes my tension into creative power." This declaration activates the somatic memory of fascial release that you've just experienced, and seals your intention into the connective tissue. Share this video with someone who carries chronic tension draining their vital energy, because each person who awakens the potential of Dana-Rasana multiplies the field of collective healing. Click on the screen to explore more transformative content on this channel. Each embodied ritual expands your ability to convert inner resistance into usable creative strength. And remember, when shape teaches substance, your body stops being a container for tension and becomes a living temple, where limitation is transmuted into freedom through applied awareness.